I think you're in the right place. You're here for Social Glue, powered by Restream. And if you saw that video opener, you can see all the signage and everything. You're right where you're supposed to be. Hi, I'm Rachel Moore, and I'm going to be your host, your guide through this whole experience of Social Glue, powered by Restream. New live stream show right here on LinkedIn and on YouTube. And thank you for watching. If you're watching live, sweet. If you're watching the replay, awesome. I'm all about being able to do things in the hereafter and trying to get stuff done. And the beauty of this live stream stuff is you can kind of do it whenever you want. But we're live right now. And so I'm so happy to be with you. You are, as I mentioned, watching the launch, the first episode, the Genesis. I'm going to chuck the thesaurus away now just to say that you're here for the first episode of Social Glue. Now, why Social Glue, Rachel? Seriously, why is that the name? Well, if you think about it, social media is very adhesive. It just brings us all together. We stick together. We get stuck together if we want to be stuck together or not. All of us are kind of pretty much stuck to these devices in our hands. I know I feel very stuck and adhered to a lot of the feeds that I love to visit and work in. So that is just the nature of social media. It's very sticky. Also, I have been told, and again, I'm totally taking it from, people who tell me this, that I'm like a glue that brings people together in certain situations. It's people or it's tasks or it's projects or what have you. So you know what? I married the two together. I'm like, social media and glue. Let's do it. You are here with Social Glue with me, and I'm so excited that you are here. So I want to kick things off by reminding you that you're watching this live on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time because of Restream. So quickly, I'm going to show you exactly what I'm talking about. Restream is pretty awesome. It is one of those live stream tools out there that you can use to go live. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen really quick because I want to show you where all you can go live on Restream. So if you can see my screen right now, it's pretty much going through, you can see the mainstream stuff. So you can go on Facebook Live, obviously. You can go on Twitch. You can go on YouTube. You can go on LinkedIn. You can go on Periscope. If y'all heard the news earlier this week that Periscope is going to be no more after a little bit, but as of right now, you can go live on Periscope. But tons of other things you can go live on too. So VK Live. Now I haven't heard of most of these, but these are global. So Daily Motion, Trovo, Kakao TV, Nemo, Nano Live, tons of different places you can go live using Restream. I've never seen a list this big, honestly. And I've worked with a lot of different live stream tools. This is huge. Plus, I don't know if you knew this, you can actually record videos produced in here, just like we're doing the show, and save them for later. It's pretty cool. You can welcome guests, which I will demonstrate in a little bit. You can share your screen, which I'm doing right now. You can do really cool like captions and things like that, just like that, where I'm telling you, welcome to Social Glue powered by Restream. So check it out. Restream's pretty cool. It is what's making the show possible today. I'd be very remiss if I didn't mention it. So I did want to mention it. So I am now going to segue into the next part of the show, which is Social Glue news. So I wanted to make this show very useful, fun, but also very useful, hopefully funny. And we're going to cover some of the social media news that might be going around into the cosmos. Every week, we'll bring you some new items. You may or may not have heard what's going on, but we're going to talk about those. So let me do a quick share of my lovely screen where I'm going to be showcasing the different news that we're talking about. So first up in the news, the Google outage. Oh my God. We were all privy to this Google outage. Google basically had a case of the Mondays, like the biggest case ever. So on December 14th, early in the morning for about 50 minutes, Google was out. So G Suite, or now called Google Workplace, was out. Google Ads, Google Analytics, YouTube. Perish the thought. The great googly moogly went kaput. And it was a big tirade for everyone. Everyone's freaking out. The outage prompted the expected responses, especially from higher ups who reacted with, "I don't care if the whole internet goes down. Why aren't you answering your emails?" kind of thing. Or "Why aren't you getting your work done offline?" Imagine that. A lot of us can't do that. Man, if you're going to Google and stuff like that for what you do, Not possible. The outage also gave rise to search terms on Google, which wasn't even working at the time, such as "Is Google down right now?" "Is Google down meme?" Of course. Or "Is Google down or is it just me?" I love that one because we all want to answer that. Be like, maybe it's just my computer. It was not. And so now we can answer that question, that age old question. It's not you. It's Google. So Google was down. I guess they did have a little bit of a blip even yesterday or today too. So not great. I still remember the big AWS outage of God, was that 2016? I think when I think I was in the middle of using Canva in an infographic, and it went bye bye, and I lost all my work. I was not happy. So I'm sure none of you are happy if you were victimized by this Google outage, but we can overcome. And fortunately, it's back online now. And again, Google points to their automated storage quota system as what caused the issue. I'm sure you can ask a googly moogly person out there what that all means. Moving on to the next big news item, Reddit acquires Dubsmash. Now, please, I know some of you are trying to be right now. You like dubstep, Dubsmash? No, stop that. Just stop that. Just drops dubstep to the side. It's not the same thing. It's not. Just leave that alone. Dubsmash is a short form video creator app second only to TikTok in use and popularity. And guess what? The front page of the internet, Reddit, now owns it. Way to go to slide in there, Reddit, and get it before someone like, oh, I don't know, something that rhymes with Schmashbook happened to get it. But what does this mean to you? Basically, your daily YouTube intake, especially if you're not a creator, will be a mix between viral vids from TikTok and viral vids from Reddit. And now you're only going to know the difference because of the branding. But if you are into creating videos and have tried to dabble into TikTok, it sounds like you might be worth your while to dabble into Dubsmash, which is again now part of Reddit. Dubsmash is going to stay separate, but the features are going to be incorporated into Reddit. So it should be something you can actually create and post right within Reddit on any of the subreddits you visit. We, of course, will let you know if we see an ocean spray skateboarder using Dubsmash, just like the one that went viral for on TikTok did and now was able to buy a house, which is so cool. I mean, I love when that kind of stuff happens, right? I hope you do too. Also, the reason Reddit said it went after Dubsmash was because it said the diversity was a big issue for them, or a big selling point rather. 25% of Dubsmash users are Black creators, and 70% of the users are female. I like hearing that because, I mean, well, I'm a woman, and so it's just really nice and refreshing to hear that that's something that is important to a company like Reddit to say that they're going to be dabbling into. All right, and now I did mention something that rhymes with Schmashbook. Let's just go right into Facebook. Facebook's getting sued by the FTC, which is not a big, terrible surprise. It feels like it's been a long time coming, but now the lawsuit has actually gone down. We all know Mark Zuckerberg has spent more time in hearings this year than in barbershop chairs, honing his Caesar hairstyle. And the fun hasn't stopped yet just because 2020 is almost over. He's going to be sitting in some more chairs into the future to talk about his company, Facebook. So basically what happened is this: 46 states, as well as the District of Columbia and even Guam, were all on board with suing Facebook for just being too damn big. Okay. I think we all get it. There's a Facebook app, there's a WhatsApp app, there's Instagram, there's Facebook Messenger. Facebook is basically the glitter of our age. It gets into every nook, cranny, and crevice. And so it's just everywhere, and we all feel its effects pretty much every waking moment of our lives. It's really big. Maybe it shouldn't be. If you're a marketer, you're probably having some mixed feels about this. On one hand, but I use Facebook ads. What about those? What's that going to mean? On the other hand, so many of us wish we could just quit Facebook. Can we just quit it? No. It'd be like refusing to log into your work email to get your work done. You can't do it. It's an integral part of social media marketing. It just is. And so I think we're all kind of mixed about it. I definitely want to kind of ask my guest today about it and see what her take is on it too. But then that's what the news is. And considering Facebook owns literally all the data on all of us all the time, I don't know that it'd be such a bad thing if that wasn't all in Mark Zuckerberg's pocket. So just some food for thought. Any comments that you have about this stuff, please drop in the comments. I want to see what you guys think about any of the news we've covered today. But that's pretty much what the dish is with all of the news, the Social Glue news segment for you. If you have any news items that you feel like you'd like us to cover, or that you think people watching this show should know, please go ahead and drop them in the comments. Make sure they're reputable news sources only. Goodness knows we have plenty of YouTubers opining on current events and things like that out there that we don't need to add more to that landscape. All right. All right. Now we are coming up on my favorite part of the show. One of the reasons I created this show, and in partnership with Restream, of course, is that I have worked in social media for a long time. And I've been privy to and been able to know and meet some of the big names in social media. I've not met Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sorry, I haven't met him. Not sorry, actually. But, those are the big names. You're like, oh, they must know all the things. You see them on stages all the time. They've written books. They're always in the spotlight, always on panels, always on shows and in interviews. That really only touches the surface of this whole iceberg, a beautiful, gorgeous iceberg of all of the social media pros that we have in the globe. These are the people who are working up to their neck every day getting social media done. Maybe you're not seeing them on a stage very often, or maybe they haven't written a book, or maybe they're not being interviewed on every podcast and live stream or news show out there. That doesn't matter though, because they know what they're doing. And so what I wanted to do with the Social Glue shout out segment is I want to bring those people onto this show. Again, varying degrees of their careers and what brands they work for and things like that. But I want to give them the stage and give them the spotlight. So today, every Wednesday, in fact, you're going to meet a social pro who may not have that name recognition, but we're going to make sure you know who they are. So with that, I am thrilled to welcome today's social shout out guest on Social Glue, Hollie Clere. How are you doing, Hollie? It's wonderful to have you on today.
Hello, my beautiful friend. I am so excited to be here. I didn't realize this was your very, very first, and so this is a huge honor.
I told you offline, I'm like, I'm really excited that you are my first. So I first guest on the show. You so deserve the shout out. So I'm really pleased to have you on. And Hollie, I'm going to start off by asking you, I would love our audience to know, what is your social media origin story? How did you get started in it?
Yes, I started my business 15 years ago before social media as a virtual back office company for telecom agents, and very, very niche, very, very nichey. I had a computer science degree, and about 13 years ago, technology changed so much that they were talking about introducing this thing called cloud computing, which changed the landscape for telecom services. And instead of allowing companies to be able to hire their own back office teams and do orders in house, they really started to compensate our partners to not have their own back office and do all the ordering through their systems, which essentially eliminated my job, the little company that I had created. And one of my partners out in Atlanta called me up and he said, I can't not take this opportunity to, get compensated to do these orders, but I don't want to lose you. What can I do? And I'm like, I don't know. I'm at a loss, right? And he said, well, you sent me a request on this LinkedIn. What is this? And I said, oh, well, it's like a resume site, because back 13 years ago when it all started, that's what people did. They had their resume. I said, people are calling from it. They're finding me. And he goes, sweet. I think that's the sauce I want. So let's build out our profiles, build out all the profiles of all of our team, and let's do some exclusive events that you just market in this LinkedIn. And so we did. And eventually we created a MySpace for their business.
Oh,
and right.
Oh my God, you have been in it for a while.
Yes. And then of course the Facebook came and Twitter and all the fun stuff. They are still one of the largest master agents in the United States today. Wow. Because they still host their events the same way. And it was really cool to watch them grow. And so as things changed and morphed over time, I went from just supporting telecom agents in social media marketing to small business owners who provide a service, as well as coaches and business coaches and professional coaches. So it's been such a beautiful journey. I've loved getting to connect with you and meet with you years ago in Colorado Women in Social Media. And you're just definitely a soul sister. And very few gems in the rough that we're in the social media space, and you are definitely one of them. So
Oh, well, thank you. I
yeah.
think the same about you, obviously, and I'm so glad people are getting to able to meet you as the gem. It's
Thank
awesome.
you.
Well, Holly, what are you working on right now? And again, I kind of want to let people know where's your focus right now? Who are you helping with your expertise? Tell us what you're dug into right now.
For the last 9 months, it's been such a fascinating journey. I've worked 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. 7 days a week for literally 4 months solid, trying to re-engineer messaging for people. In fact, I have a travel agent that I was doing some work for, and we had all of our content scheduled out ahead of time, promoting international travel. And
Mhm.
come lockdown, we can't talk about international travel. We've got to
Wow.
come up with something new. So we came up with the idea of, what about staycations? What about forts and recipes and books and different games that we could do around the house? And so that was the messaging that we then implemented for the next 4 months. And we've just been doing that over and over, of coming up with new strategies so we're relevant, we're
Mhm.
current, we're current with things that are going on in the nation. We're current with things that are going on with the pandemic. We're current with things that are going on in the business, so they can still have a presence and maintain the story. And that's all I get to do every day, is I get to help people tell their story. And we do that through profile building, roadmap development, where we map out their whole 3-month calendar so they know what they're going to post. And then we do have team members that help us provide content for people
Mhm.
who don't want to do social media on their own. And that's what we get to do. We work with companies from wineries to hair salons. So you can imagine, no in-person dining, no
Yeah.
pouring of wine, no haircuts, all the things that could potentially happen. We've got to stay relevant. And
Mhm.
so that's what we've been spending our time doing. I actually have rewarded myself, though, the last few months, and given myself 2 days a week that I'm not, forward facing with the clients, and just really honoring that place for me, and the family as a
Yeah.
whole. So
That's really, I love all the things you said there too, because talk about, I'm sure there's no marketer watching this, this program who's not like, yeah, the big pivot of
pivot.
2020, because we couldn't talk or share or market just about anything that we were used to marketing in the way we did. But that was so crucial, and you're providing such a crucial service to a business to say, I can help you do that. And here's how to shift, and don't become irrelevant, stay relevant in the current time. Granted, I'm sure businesses are still kind of like, yeah, my revenue's not what it would have been, but you're helping them stay relevant and hopefully keep that little bit of revenue going to where they can at least be here in 2021, when
Yes.
hopefully things are back to normal and even better than they were normally. So I think that's amazing.
A friend of mine gave me this quote that I wrote down on a sticky note, and I keep it on my little inspirational journal. And she says, "You chose to survive your business in this pandemic instead of choosing to close." And I know not all of us have that choice, but if you are still doing business, you chose to survive that.
Mhm.
And I just want to celebrate that with you, that it's not too late. You can still pivot.
That's
Let's not
right.
look back. Let's look forward.
That's
What's
right.
next, right?
I love that. And you just quoted my favorite TV show ever, The West Wing. They always say, "What's next?" And we should be looking to what's next. So, Holly, it's very important then. Now that we just made that missive to businesses saying it's not too late. Where would people be able to follow you and get in contact with you to seek out your assistance with their stuff?
Yes. So I am in Facebook, right?
That's right.
The social media advisor, also Instagram, the social media advisor, Twitter, the social pro. You can find me on Google My Business, as well as YouTube and Pinterest. And I will just like to also add that I do have a free Facebook group for articles that I share of valuable knowledge that people are asking today. I share from a variety of different sources. It's called Be Awesome in Social Media on
Mhm.
Facebook. So it's free to anybody. And feel free to jump in there, ask questions, search the last 4 years of articles, and find information that's valuable to you. If you can't afford to invest in someone, then at least take the step to join that free Facebook group and start having some conversations in there.
I love that. Holly, too, this will obviously is going on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you want to drop the link to that Facebook group, that would be awesome. What a great place for people who need help to connect. And even if they are like, again, like another social marketer, I mean, there's a growth in that knowledge and sharing and stuff. So I love that you have that. And I think we've shown that it's really important nowadays to have that community, because that's where people are like, I can't connect with people in real life. I need to connect somewhere. And so driving them to that Facebook group's a great idea. But also everyone, please, again, feel free. You can see it on the screen. Follow Holly at her social handles. Reach out to her if you're someone who, hey, could really use some help of what she's offering. She's got it there. Now, Holly, we're going to continue with helping. So another segment of this show is a social glue question of the week. So each of these questions, and everyone who's watching, I want you to submit your own question. It can be about anything related to social media. You could even ask, what is social media? How did social media start? We might bring up MySpace, things like that. But please go submit your question, because what we're going to do is every week we'll read out a question, and myself and our social shout out guest is going to be here to help you answer it. So Holly, I'm going to share our question for today. And let me get it up here on the screen. So the question today is, and this is so perfect that you're here to answer this question today. Which social channels should a business use in their social strategy? Holly, what do you think?
Ooh, I'm going to say it depends. Here's the thing. You've got to do a search in platforms that you enjoy for the people that you're wanting to serve. And so in some cases, that could easily be Pinterest, depending on what you provide. In other places, absolutely LinkedIn is going to be key. Facebook, as you mentioned, is everywhere, and that is probably going to be key as well. If you have a very visual brand, Instagram is going to be key for you. So if you have a local storefront, Google My Business is going to be important, because you can post there every single week for free. Mm-hmm. And so that's kind of my general thought is you should have a presence on LinkedIn, because people are going to look at your history. You should have a presence in Facebook to really have some of those conversations. And then the other places are there to support you. You can cross-purpose your content from Facebook and LinkedIn into Pinterest. And all the videos that you do, whether they're live or pre-recorded, can also be loaded into YouTube. And if it's done correctly, then you can get found in that place. And you'd be surprised who's looking for what you do and getting questions answered through each of the different channels. Now, I will state that you shouldn't just go and create all the things just to create all the things, because you're never going to be awesome at all of them. It's a really good idea to secure your name, because as you noticed, I don't have the same name in all of my channels because my name is super long. So The Social Pro and Twitter, darn it, I wish I would have been able to snag that early. So if you can, snag your stuff, but then develop a strategy of what you're going to share and how you're going to share it in the channels that you really enjoy being present in, because those are the ones you're going to be active in first.
Awesome answer to that question. I have to agree with you. I think, and the best part of it is, you mentioned don't just jump in. Don't just jump in because you heard, hey, this is a mainstream one and I totally need to be on this. It really does matter. Like, where are your customers going to be, right? And that should be where you focus, but also what kind of reflects you as a brand and marries up with that really well. Like, for instance, I am doing this show on LinkedIn and YouTube. And the reasons I'm not doing it, say, on Facebook or trying to do it on Twitter or even Twitch, this is a show that's technically about social media professionals, social media news. It's about trying to get social media done. Very much belongs on LinkedIn because we're talking about the professionalism and people as well as tactics. And oh yeah, it belongs on YouTube. This is great content. I mean, just you answering that question could help somebody who's like looking up on YouTube saying, you know what, and I'm absolutely going to make sure this is part of my YouTube video, is to say, hey, if I'm a business, what social channel should I focus on? If they're looking for that on YouTube, they're going to find this video and they're going to find you giving them that answer, and that's going to help them. So I love that you pointed all that out. And again, everyone watching, Hollie can help you with this stuff. So if you are like, oh my gosh, I have to be active on social for my business, I can't do all that. Well, there's help. She's there. And she's right there. And you could, like I said, follow her on her handles to reach out to her. And Hollie, I know that brings us to our time together to a close today. I so appreciate you being our social shout out guest, our feature, our spotlight. I was so pleased to be able to shine that spotlight in your direction. And thank you for answering with such great expertise and knowledge our social question of the week. So thank you for being on Social Glue. I so love you and appreciate you.
I love you. Thank you for having me. Bye, everybody.
Have a great day. Awesome. Told you that was my favorite segment. But look, we fitted another segment as part of it. I also really love answering your questions, and my guests do too, because like I said, this is a chance for them to be featured and put the spotlight on them. What better way than to say, hey, help me answer a social media question submitted by the audience. So if you want to submit your own question, please do so we can see what you're thinking about, what you're troubled by, what's keeping you up at night when it comes to social media. Believe it or not, social media does keep us up at night. I swear, especially when we're trying to kind of think about how do we crack the nut? How do we keep our strategy fresh? How do I compete with all of the other stuff out there? And again, how do I stay relevant in a pandemic? We all have been thinking about it the whole time. So happy that Hollie was able to join us today. And again, you can you can ask for your own shout out here on the show or recommend somebody. All you got to do is visit really.social/social glue. So now I want to just, before we go to the very last segment, I want to remind you that this whole show is brought to you by Restream. So Restream, again, lets you broadcast to multiple places. Right now, the show is live broadcasting on LinkedIn and YouTube at the same time. You can go on Facebook Live, and at the start of the show, if you want to go back and look, I showed you like about 30 different destinations you can live broadcast to. You can bring in guests. You can bring them up to 10 guests. I can share my screen, which I've been doing to showcase the news and the questions that we've been answering during the show. You can bring in your guests. You can also bring in multiple cameras if you want to, if you have some multiple devices. And you can record a really good produced video. Notice that I'm putting up all these captions that are totally relevant to what I'm saying right now. It's amazing, right? It's like it's magic happening. So Restream can make your live streams and videos magical. Try it out yourself. There's my short link, bit.ly/Rachel uses Restream, all lowercase. I do use Restream. It's happening right now. And I want you to go try it out. See how you like it. Let me know. I would love to learn. All right. So now the final segment of today. This is where we go off the rails a little bit. I'm just going to sprinkle a little poetry onto this show. Now, I am not a poet by any stretch of the imagination. Some of you may not be either, but some of you might. So what I did was I said, I often like to compose a haiku here and there. Now, a haiku, those of you who aren't aware, a haiku is basically it's a 3-line poem, and you go by syllables. First line has to have 5 syllables. The second line has to have 7. And then the third line goes back to 5 syllables. So it's totally short. And usually you can get pretty inventive. Doesn't have to rhyme either. Poetry doesn't have to rhyme. I personally like when it rhymes. I think that's a pretty tall order, but haikus don't need to rhyme. So it's pretty easy to make one up. And also, by the way, I'm going to give a shout out to my favorite show, the Avatar: The Last Airbender. There's actually an episode where one of the characters is just rolling out the haikus. It's pretty funny. So this week, I'm so pleased to share our contributor's haiku for this week. Let me pop it up here on the screen. Our contributor this week is Hevart Berame. He is from the Philippines, and he's actually someone I know through my network. And here's his haiku. Facebook and friendships, some are real and some are fake. Are real and some are fake. See, I'm counting. Warning, add wisely. Perfect. I love that he even made it about Facebook, and we were talking about Facebook today. That's some good advice, and it's in the form of a haiku. So you know what? Feel free. Take a screenshot if you want of like, oh my God, I just heard this kind of cool social media haiku on Social Glue, and I want to share it out. Hevart, thank you so much for sharing that with me. And sharing it with our audience. And any of you can submit a haiku. Like I said, it's not that hard. Really not. I mean, all you got to, I'm definitely going to be using the fingers to count your syllables out, but go for it. Do it. Submit it. We'll take it. We love it. And by the way, I want to mention that everyone who contributes to the show in that manner, whether you're my guest as a social shout out, whether you are submitting a haiku or a question for us to answer, you're going to get a little something from Restream. So I'm really happy to share that. You'll be getting a little bonus afterward. It could be little, large, whatever. We're going to do our best to make sure you feel the love from Restream because you joined Social Glue. Powered by Restream. So the final thing of today is that I do want to mention that we are here every Wednesday starting at 2 p.m. Eastern. I'm in the Mountain Time Zone, so that's noon. But I definitely want you to join us. We are here on LinkedIn as well as YouTube, and that's my LinkedIn profile and my YouTube channel. But if you go chatreally.social/social glue, you're going to find where you need to follow us at. And I'm happy to showcase too. I'm going to bring up who our guest is for next week, Doug Cohen. I have known Doug again through some social media circles. He's way cool. And it's a bit timely that he'll be on the show because Doug has been a force on Periscope, which again, as we know, is, as we just heard this week, got it confirmed, they're going to be going away and actually be kind of integrated into Twitter itself. But they're going to be going away, and I'm not sure how that's going to impact him. So I'm definitely keen on asking him about that. But Doug's been awesome. Him and his wife, Allie, run Frameable Faces, which is a photography studio up in Michigan, I believe. And they prolifically use Periscope and social to promote their business and also just to stay in touch with people. And Doug also works in social media. So really happy to have him on the show. He will be joining us as the social shout out for next week, and very pleased that he's going to be on. So I'm excited about that. And I'm excited that you were able to watch, whether you're watching live or you're going to watch the replay. Thanks for joining Social Glue powered by Restream. Again, I hope it was fun. Give me your feedback. I can take it. I'm here to make the show better. Hollie knows that about me. I want to make the whole thing better because glue is pretty useless if it doesn't stick. I want this to stick. So send me your comments. Send me your news. Send me your haikus. Send me your shout outs. Just send it all to me. It'll all stick. Remember, Social Glue powered by Restream. A little dab will do ya. And until we see you next time, have a wonderful week and stay social, everybody. Bye.